good morning. Is it morning? It's 12:46. I guess it counts as morning. It's Timothy. An important thing women need to learn, especially if you're a young girl, care about like how the behaviors you're choosing in a boyfriend can translate as a father. For example, I loved my ex-boyfriend, and I truly did. But holy shit, am I glad that our relationship ended? Because think about it, if I stayed with him, I would have not only tolerated bullshit, but let's say we had a kid, the kid would have had to tolerate tons of bullshit. Because Liam was the type to be like, oh, I hate my job, I want a better one. Oh, I don't like my body, I'm so scrawny, I want a better one. Oh, I want to stop smoking so much weed. All this, all that. And it's like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Because whole time it would be like awesome offers in his area for like free gym membership trials for 30 days. Like family members would reach out and be like, hey, I can add you to my gym subscription for free. Research studies would pop up about like how to fucking get yourself off of weed. He'd complain about not feeling smart but never read any new books, just like fucking Dark Souls Wikipedia pages. He wouldn't do fucking shit. He would still have the fucking shitty diet of like nothing but mac and cheese and chicken nuggets and fucking occasional chicken wraps from his fucking job and pesto pasta. But to be fair, he could be autistic or have ARFID, but even then, smoking endless amounts of weed and not being able to go too long without it, complaining about his teeth getting yellow, but then like refusing to brush his teeth for several days on end, like complaining about his skin being crispier than a fucking bag of crushed up Lay's potato chips, like flaky as fucking red everywhere. Whole time he would get lotion. I would even give him lotion. I'd be like, here you go, baby, I got this product for you. Like it would work wonders on your skin because I know you want to get rid of your skin issue. And then, oh, lo and behold, that bottle went missing. And I remember when I was on good terms with my housemate, I even told them, it's like, yeah, he says he wants to get his skin together because it's like all year it's been endless peeling, endless flakiness and redness and all this. And he doesn't want to, like, I don't know, I even gave him lotion. And the weird thing is, the lotion went missing. And then my housemate is like what's a gender neutral term for king? The fucking epitome of weaponized incompetence. Because my fucking housemate was the type of asshole to be like, oh, I have a limp and it's cold. So I'm gonna leave a half container of spilled ramen noodles in the microwave and not clean it up. So I guess, game recognizes game. So my housemate was like, oh, I'm sure they lost that lotion. And I thought to myself, why would someone lie about lotion? And the answer is because some people are a special type of pathetic and mentally deficit that they will complain about their situation, and then when given the tools to solve it, they will throw away the tools. Some people are unhelpable, and I remember how hard that nigga cried and how lame he still acts to this day because I don't like him that much anymore. But to tie it back to what I was saying before, if me and that nigga stayed together, like let's say I stayed in a relationship with him and like one way or another I would have gotten pregnant or or even worse, married, but I doubt that. Like Liam was the type of asshole where you could be like, hey baby, I want to wake up like decently early tomorrow so we can go into the city before like daylight savings makes everything dark and cold at 4 p.m. so we can have a proper date. And then he'd be like, oh, maybe we can see. Yeah, maybe. He would never truly say no. He'd say maybe. And then lo and behold, he'd accidentally sleep in until 4 p.m. and then be like, oh, darn, I would go out, but it's so cold. Now imagine if I had a daughter. And imagine if I had a daughter who got the same fucking treatment where it's like, hey, dad, can we go to the park today? Ooh, maybe we'll see if we have time. And then they'll be like, oh, maybe we should check out like we can go at like 1 p.m. And then next thing you know, your kid's waiting sad as fuck with their little sparkly fucking backpack and their little light up Skechers, sitting on the stoop of the apartment porch for fucking hours and hours and hours and hours, and their dad never comes to pick them up. Think about that. That probably would have happened with someone like him. And then he'd just call like, oh, hey, I overslept, I'm sorry. He still does that shit to this day. And that's exactly why I see other niggas, which is exactly why I'm in a hotel room now with a nigga who treats me so much better. An organized man who actually takes care of his kid and is very, very efficient with every single detail in his life and who recognizes my worth and value. He was like, yeah, I'm going to get you a nice, beautiful hotel room with a nice, beautiful view of the ocean, and I'm going to meet you at this hour, and we can do this, this, and that. And he plans it, executes all that. That's what I like. And it's like, even though this guy is not the guy I'm currently seeing who got me this hotel room, he's not a permanent guy in any single way, shape, or form. But he's an improvement. But I don't know. That's always. I remember when I got out of high school, it's like, or actually, even worse, my older siblings left high school, everyone they knew got pregnant. And it was just a bunch of fucking dumbass teenagers going, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna get pregnant by Jabrante. This asshole dude at my high school who calls me fine shit. Well, I'm just kidding. Back then, they didn't call you fine shit, they called you a bad bitch. It's like, you mean to tell me the nigga who doesn't remember to put on deodorant, doesn't scrub behind his ears, his balls, the back of his neck, behind his knees, anywhere? The man with huge amounts of cystic acne that he can stop at any point in time and chooses not to. The man who walks into rooms screaming lyrics to XXX Tentacion songs and Trippie Red. You thought he was gonna be a good father? Also, I don't get the logic of people who are like, ooh, a baby's more permanent than marriage. It's a certain level of stupidity. It's so, because it's like, if that person betrays you, you can rip up that piece of paper in a nice little, speedy little divorce. You know? You can't rip up a baby. Or, okay, you can, but it's like that's not the best way to separate from someone. And it's very sad. Don't do that. And then it's like, next thing you know, it's a motherfucking girl out there who's fucking 19 with a 2-year old that she can't take care of because she thought that Gibrante's psycho ass with a motherfucking extentation fan page that says fuck hoes get money would be a good fucking father. I'm just saying, if someone was pathetic before, they're gonna be even worse as a dad. Like, for example, I dated a guy named Morgan after Liam. He was a hot fucking mess in a lot of ways. He did show potential, but even then, after a while, it was kind of shown that it's like, okay, this is a man who goes back on his word. This is the type of man who will make promises that he can't keep. Pathological liar, cheater, all that. And tendency to like keep secrets and blow up and shit. And I think my future child would deserve better than a dad that is a fucking liar, a dad who wouldn't buy them necessities or even like fun trips because the dad's too busy buying like rare ass comic books off the internet in mint condition just to keep on his wall. If you date the type of man who can't remember your anniversary, then you're gonna get the type of father who will like make it normal for every single Christmas you never get a gift. He will never know like his kid's allergies, the name of his child's pediatrician. He will never remember anything vital. If you date the type of guy who always makes excuses for why he hasn't improved in life despite every opportunity, you're going to get one of those weird, like, resentful, like, passive aggressive, doubtful ass fathers. The type of father that would be like, oh, you have a goal? Isn't that too much? I mean, because I'm even Liam. Liam claimed to have feelings for me, but even then, he still has hater energy too. Like, I will still catch him hating on some shit that I'm doing that he's not. Because I have certain hobbies that he doesn't, and if it's anything he deems far fetched, he will be as passive aggressive and weird about it as possible. I remember I straight up told him, I was like, yeah, I took a comedy class recently. It was so much fun, yada yada. And this nigga had a fucking attitude about it. And I even told him, I was like, see, I had a gut feeling that I didn't want to tell you about the good news of the comedy class because I had a feeling you would have just shit on it anyway. And I'm not a fan of that. So I don't like, that's not a guy who would clap for his kids' achievements in my book. The type of guy that would let you carry extremely heavy bags and doesn't open doors for you is the type of guy where it's like the kid could be at the hospital for any reason whatsoever, and the dad will be like, oh, well, he's at the hospital. Why do I need to be there and show up? And go back to fucking his side bitch or whatever, or texting random women on Kick. Like, hell, my stepdad was fucking pathetic. Like, I'm sure he was a decent guy at some point. He actually was, but he regressed. And I remember how pathetic he was. He was the type of nigga where it's like he was too busy texting barely legal women and catfishes off of fucking Kick and shit to cheat on his wife. or playing endless amounts of Candy Crush, and then getting mad at like my younger brother or me because we would have to like occasionally get the toilet plunged or something. Like, boo fucking who. Oh no. We take healthy shits and we sometimes need a big strong man to plunge it. But he would throw tantrums as if we fucking shot his mother in the face. If you date the type of man who tries to downplay your achievements, insult you, neg you, you're going to get the type of father for your kids who's going to insult them, make them feel little, belittle them, corner them, intimidate them, and if they hurt you physically or emotionally, they're going to do the same to your kids for fucking pleasure. Because if they would do it to a woman who loves them, they would absolutely do it to a fucking child. Those types of people are the lowest of the low. I'm just saying, go for guys who treat you nicely consistently. The current guy I'm seeing, he's not an end game for me, but I will say he is pretty nice. Like, from the very jump, he's been very thoughtful. It's like, oh, you want to try German food? He finds a German restaurant for me. Oh, you like gemstones? Hey, search up like a gemstone that you really fucking like. I promise I'll buy it for you. Oh, you want to get, like, oh, I noticed you don't have a fucking tote bag on you. You want me to buy you one? Oh, here, let me get you some sandals while I'm at it. Here's money for a pedicure. Here's a nice hotel room with a fucking view overlooking the beach. Here's some food and some extra food for dinner, and then I'll swing by in the morning and get you breakfast. And then on top of that, like, he has a kid already, and he takes very, like, he was even telling me, it's like, okay, after I get done here, and he told the rundown of like how he's gonna schedule out his, like, he was like, oh, I have to leave at this specific hour to go pick up my son from daycare, and then, busy most of the evening, but we still talk before bed. And he was like, I will see you between these hours after I'm done picking up my kid, and we will do this for this time frame. Like, he's a very planned, organized man, and I like that a lot. He's intelligent, thoughtful, caring. He has his ducks in a row. He's logical. From what I can tell, he hasn't been like, I can still see certain things in him that are absolutely like, I won't say red flags, I'll just say yellow flags. It's like, trust me, I've still had moments where it's like, over explaining here, little bit like not condescending, but he just has a certain vibe and slightly secretive. Not the best. But from what I can tell, he's not that bad. He's doing pretty well. He's a good little homie. I'm not saying I want to get pregnant by him. Not at all. Fuck no. That would be awful. No. But I guess there's much worse people that I could get pregnant by. But even then, I recognize that this is still someone where it's like, hey, he checks off a lot of boxes, but not enough where I would happily sacrifice my body, my health, permanently, all that, just for a chance to like bear this dude's kid. And like, may or may not even have a life together. Fuck that shit. I'm just saying, go for like what's fucking perfect. Because I'll put it this way, lots of people think, ooh, I should be in a relationship where we try to make it work despite huge differences, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes that works for people, sometimes it doesn't, but I'll say it this way. Do you want your kid to grow up like, ooh, my parents were not made for each other. They resented each other. They tried hard to make it work. My mother slaved away all day at work, and my dad was always unhappy. But you know what? We were still a family at the end of the day. Or would you rather it be like, oh yeah, everyone was happy? My dad and my mom loved each other. We had a great fucking time growing up in life. Yeah, yeah. Like, which would you rather want? Like, think about it. Like, it's like if I were to have married Liam and had a kid with him, or even just had a kid with him, I would have had to deal with his shitty, abusive family being rude as fuck to me and not standing up to me and being offensive to me and my kid. And I would have had to deal with him being like neglectful, irresponsible, non-confrontational, even if they were in the wrong, he would never ever defend, and just like unhygienic behavior and just being a bad example and a bad role model and just bad in general. Versus I could date someone where it's like they have financial stability, they have goals that they set and they work on it. They want better health, they eat better food. They want to work out, they go to the gym. They want whiter teeth, they use peroxide and floss. They want a better love life, they actually put in effort with dates and like things like that. I like people who try, and I just wish more people chose partners that aligned with what they truly wanted. Otherwise, you're just selling yourself for unhappiness, but not even you, because it's not even about you. Kids are our future, the next generation, they are us. We were kids at some point, and we know how our parents and our choices. I'll put it this way, my own relationship with my own father, the guy who made me exist, technically, with his stupid ass fucking self. as a child, we had a bond that was on the equivalent of like, do you know that video where it's like the little girl and her brother, and it's like, come on, hug me, I'm trying to go to school too. But then she like pushes him away and flips off the camera. It was kind of like that, except I was the boy and my dad was the little girl. It's like my dad, he was a piece of shit in a lot of different ways, but like pathetic. He was the right amount of distant where I don't have daddy issues, or at least not quite enough. Debatable. Debatable. Quite debatable. But I will say this. I don't know what my mom was thinking at any point. She wasn't thinking. She was like, I'm gonna let this dude who I have a restraining order against hit it raw. Well, wait, no. She told me that, yeah, they wore a condom. Okay, fair. But still, what the fuck? And then she kept me. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna say it. I guess she was a little too optimistic that this fucking potentially autistic, nerdy ass nigga with obscene amounts of mental instability and an obsession with her, who loved fucking video games and was a mama's boy and all this and that. I guess she really thought, oh, he will love me enough where he will be around for our daughter's life and be good and this and that. Nope, he was still jealous, insane, and psychotic and neglectful. Plus, me being a girl, he did definitely kind of like distance because of that too. Which is whatever. It's like, how do I put this? I'm not gonna miss someone who, like, no offense, it's like the idea of him in my life. I could have, it's like it's someone going, like, hey, guess what? You could have a life without ever eating this type of pie made of toenail fungus and smegma. Or you could have the pie in your life constantly. And which would you like? That's kind of like how it sounds whenever people are like, oh, like, how do you feel about your father? Him being around would have been like being offered a smegma foreskin toenail pie. I knew that nigga wasn't shit. He was lame as fuck, and he has always been lame as fuck. I don't feel bad about not having him around. The only thing I have ever felt bad about is that if he died, I don't think I would truly feel anything. Funny enough, me and my half sibling, we both had separate instances of crying to our mother because we had to explain to her, it's like, we don't give a fuck about these niggas. But we feel like bad people because it's like if he just died and vanished off the face of the earth, we wouldn't give a fuck. And that makes us feel like bad people and psychopaths. The whole time they're the ones who are psychotic and assholey and emotionless. I don't respect that. I don't wish that on any fucking young girl. I'm just saying. I value fatherhood, but I also value community. If someone seems like an unfit father, I'm just saying. I think Kafka kind of made a book about it. I think it's Kafka. It's the story of a man. He's a father and a husband. He wakes up one day and realizes that he turns into like a giant creature, like I believe some sort of like beetle, and he can't move out of his bed. And he's like, oh no, I can't move. I can't do anything. I'm useless. But his family functions without him because they all got used to him not being emotionally present, not being physically there, all sorts of things. The whole family does not give a fuck that he's gone. They actually function better because he's just stuck in that little room and can't do shit. The family learned how to eat, cook, make money, all sorts of stuff without him. He became useless. I think it's called Metamorphosis. That's the name of the story. By, I think, Franz Kafka. I could be wrong. But that stuck with me. And I guess it's like, yeah, I just don't want any more generations of people who can relate to that fucking story. I'm just saying. I really just hope that there will be a generation of women who can just be like, I will only get pregnant by a man with this, and that. And even if you think this is enough, guess what? No, add more stakes. Because trust me, the men I thought were the love of my life at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, even fucking 6 months ago, or even 3 months ago, they would have been terrible fucking fathers. I'm not immune to my own advice. I'm just saying, please be diligent. Make sure you keep note of the red flags, because if you don't, they will manifest terribly into your future child's life. Like, think about it. From Euphoria, Maddie and Nate were a cute couple in certain scenes, but still ultimately terrible with each other and for each other. He's a disgusting, vile man. If we wanted to look at all the cute moments with that psychotic, disgusting couple, you would probably be like, ooh, they're two nut jobs made for each other. They can persevere through anything. They'll have hard times but stay in love and get married. Nope, because if Maddie were to stay with him, she would have had a nightmarish fucking life. Don't date for potential. Don't see the best in men. Don't do it. If I could rewind time, trust me, like even as a young girl, I knew. But I still had faith in men at the time. I'm just saying. Take note of what's bad, and please, it's better to leave as soon as possible than to stick around too late. Please, I beg you. The next generation needs that. Also, you deserve better. You deserve a loving a home, a family, and a functional father for your kids. Bye.